check that stat. But let's get into game number 2 to see whether or not this experiment is going to pan out for the side of TSM or if it's going to be the side of Team Aster continuing their momentum here in the TI-11 group stages. This draft from them, honestly, I'm in heaven right now, man. Yesterday I got Somnus in the Spirit. Today I get to cast XXX Brewmaster at TI. Oh my god. All right.
Good day.
It's a good day, man. It's a good tournament. We out here.
Having a good time so far, especially now with more of these smokes going forward. They don't have Moon Meander here. The level 1 from TSM's a little bad. Obviously, Ancient Apparition is good when you're able to get multiple of these chilling touches off. And yeah, if Braille's able to hit a triple raise, it can be strong. Whereas Aster, they've got the Storm Hammer. They're going to be able to have the Split Earth as well coming in from Ori. XXS, he can get the Thunderclap if he wants to. They can Thunder Snap Cookie on top, and the Drow can just sit there and be a Drow. So Aster definitely feeling pretty good with how their level 1 is going to go here. Whereas Siamese Cat, he's just going to get the half deny going here. Feeling like that's TSM are a little bit privy to that information on the high ground, but I think they are relatively unawares. They are just moving across for some more of these bounty runes. So I'm really looking towards TSM to just have some better lanes. I think if they're able to actually play Dota, they're actually able to get their draft going and moving forward and having a fun time, then that's when this team can look really good. They've got Saberlight on one of his comfort heroes. They've got Bryle on one of his comfort heroes as well. Tomato's been looking really good in this Pudge. A few question marks to me are just the support pairing, but I know that there's definitely an idea behind it here for TSM, and there's definitely a strategy that's going to come out once we get deeper into this game too.
You know that Dubu is committed to winning here, Fluke, because yesterday he played Warlock, today he's playing Ancient Apparition. One does not do these things just because you want to have yourself a good time. You do it because you want to win. But it's going to look good, I think, for them. Just have to try and make sure they marshal a good laning phase. Down bottom, Saberlight's being zoned back a little bit, but they already also have the available block. I'm not sure if the Sven is going to be able to de-ward it just yet for Siamese Cat, but that does mean that Saberlight should be able to find some decent experience on this side of the map. He has to be careful on Moon Meander. They have Stormhammer again. This is death. First blood down in this bottom lane. He's going to try and stay alive with the Fairy Fire, but it's not going to help. Look at Siamese Cat. Proper support play. Body blocking to ensure that he does not take the first blood away from his carry. And Monet yet again off to a momentous start here in this bottom lane.
This is kind of what I talked about, right? This Drow Ranger Sven lane is going to be oh so good because the Sven has this low cooldown. Yeah, it's a bit of an expensive mana, but that's why you've got 3 mangoes here on Siamese Cat. And they're just able to abuse the Beastmaster, right? You can just see so many times throws the Stormhammer out onto the ball, gets it out onto Moon Meander as well. And as long as Monet is anywhere within range for these Frost Arrows and even the multi-shot, it's going to be a very, very hard lane here for TSM. So this could be something we're going to be seeing a little bit more out of Team Aster today. They're already starting a really good day here for day number 2. And they're looking to try and see if they can make it a 2-0 here up against TSM.
Moon Meander forced to go into a point into the telekinesis just to toss back this Drow, but doesn't make life easier for Saberlight. Still a couple hundred gold off for picking up his Helm of Iron Wall, and at the same time in the top lane, Tomato gets ran down by XXX. XXX and Boboka. Yet again, just making Tomato's life a living hell. Game number 1, they were putting the screws onto him while he was playing Shadow Fiend, and now, even on his Pudge, they're just not allowing him any room to breathe here. He's not getting any CS in the lane. He just suffered a death. He will at the very least come back with some degree of regen, but that doesn't feel good here, Fluke. This early game, you wanted better lanes coming out of the side of TSM, and you know, nominally these lanes can be granted to them, but the performance from Aster in this early portion just feeling like it's a bit too difficult for TSM to deal with right now.
Yeah, it just feels like Aster have been utilizing this combination for a long time. I feel like the stocks of Brewmaster are constantly going to be rising just because of the amount of heroes, amount of these good position 4 heroes that can abuse the Cinderbrew. And we've seen how strong it is in these lanes up against these melee heroes that want to be inside the creep wave, try and get those trades going favorably for them. But Pen is almost always going to be able to win that trade. Throw down the Cinderbrew, you get the scatter shot, you've got the Snapfire Cookie as well to be able to just abuse the amount of damage that this Cinderbrew does. So it's going to be a good time for them with Bryle. That's a big solo kill. That's exactly what TSM need. A little bit of extra confidence going for Bryle, a little bit of extra gold, and a little bit of extra experience.
Okay, that was a Swagger Fiend kill, definitely. He's out here now. Great way to him start the game top. They might try to make a run onto Dubu here. Slowed down by the Scatter Blast. Tomato Finds a hook back onto Baboka. Baboka not going to die just yet, but will eventually tick out. So that's quite nice. Feels good to be Tomato in that situation. Finally getting a kill back in this lane. And we need him to get as many kills as possible to contribute into that flesh heap. You do not want an under-leveled, untanky Pudge in a game like this. We saw yesterday that there was a portion of the game where he wasn't that tanky, didn't have that much flesh heap, and he really struggled at that stage. Do not want that fate to yet again happening to him. Middle though is going to start getting interesting because now they are making sure that they're securing both boundary runes, or both water runes rather, and Bryle is going to need a little bit of help here. If he doesn't get the next one, then suddenly he's in a situation where he might have to go home for the regen. And you always feel bad when you get a big solo kill, but you still get bounced back to the fountain regardless.
Yeah, it definitely feels a little bit whack, but now he's got his raindrops coming out as well, so he's able to at least abuse the fact that he's one level up here onto Ori. He's going to hit level 6 before even Ori hits level 5 if he plays this lane well. So this is exactly what I wanted coming out of TSM, exactly what I wanted coming out of Bryle. Him playing one of his signature heroes once again on the Shadow Phantom, and a hero that can take over the game as well. So doing a good job, and more fights at top.
Boka will be able to jump back with the fire snap cookie onto Dubu. Dubu not dead just yet. One more right click, but Boka actually outplays him. What a player. The question is, will he be able to dodge the meat hook from Tomato? Tomato's trying to find the angle. He gets him. Will be able to get the kill, but nonetheless, Baboka still ended up styling all over Dubu there. Hashtag worth if you're him.
Yeah, feels good to be able to get that little bit extra kill, and you're going to see like how much more aggressive that a lot of these lanes are being, and I think TSM understood that they really couldn't get any counterpunches back in that previous game, and now this time around, relatively similar lanes coming in from Team Aster. They've got very, very aggressive lanes.
Middle,
The
they got the stun. Fire snap cookie threw out onto Bryle, but because Dubu is here, they don't really want to jump him, and Ori just ran out of mana as well. Couldn't keep the chase going. You were mentioning earlier that Bryle has the level advantage, and it actually came out here because he doesn't have the extra point into 6, so for the Pulse Nova, they didn't have the magic damage, so they're forced to let him go. But they almost threatened him. They brought him down to half HP. That's just a, hey man, just remember, you know, you're styling right now, but things can turn in a hurry.
Yes, SF can really be put in some of those bad positions, and TSM are doing a really good job at keeping this game at normalcy, but Team Aster, they've got a lot of good ways at being able to try and get some of these kills. Oh, no, moving end up. I think he should go down. He should be okay here. Focus fast. Yeah, he'll be okay. But they found the stacks, so this is pretty spooky, the fact that they found the stacks here. They've got a Drow Ranger, they've got a Leshrac, so if they're able to walk across there and be able to take some of these hard camp stacks, that's when it's going to start to feel really bad here for TSM. But I'd imagine Bryle, he's just going to spam out this middle lane here. He's just going to walk over towards that hard camp. He'll hit the double raise, and then he'll just walk in and be able to auto-attack them down. And he's going to be pretty happy little boy. He's going to be pretty happy and healthy with the way that this game is going, albeit he's not at the top of the net worth right now. It is taken up by Monet as well as Tomato, just slightly behind the Drow Ranger. But he's definitely feeling good with how this game is going, and I think that's the big thing for TSM. There's still a lot of Dota to be played in this group stages here, Snare, and if they get a little bit of extra confidence back in their heroes and some of the styles and identities that they want to play for the rest of the group stage, they can start to turn around some of their favor. You know, being at, if they end this at 3-3, it's not the worst. They could be 0-6, but, you know, they're definitely starting to figure out the way that this is starting to work for them, and it's the point of group stages, right? Trying to figure out where everyone sits, where everyone wants to play Dota, and who has the better ideas.
Remembering that Dota is a marathon at TI rather than a sprint. Taking your time, trying to ensure that you put yourself in the best possible position to end up winning the whole tournament. In the last, since TI 6, only 2 teams have won from the upper bracket. So that should tell us a lot about the fact that it's not just about winning extremely quickly and being dominant early on. It's about peaking at the right time. Right now, TSM still trying to make sure that they are able to peak. Down bottom, we might lose Saberlight. He's taking quite a bit of damage from the Frost Arrows. Got stunned up, but Moonmeander yet again on hand with the telekinesis to ensure that Saberlight does not get completely killed. But he's certainly being bullied, and he might have to go all the way back to base. He's really struggling in this game here, Saberlight. Not that much net worth to his name, the lowest of all the cores. Still not that close towards... What? What hook was that? Baboka! What? Damn, I'd be very upset if I got hooked like that. All right, Tomato's out here.
That was a sick hook. That was a nice little read that came in there from Tomato. They knew that Baboka was up on the high ground there because Bryle did hit him, but yeah, nice little shot there coming in from Tomato. And Getting the kill there on a Awaken is big for them because we can see now that he's falling back in towards the jungle. Massive stacks coming out here from Mr. Dubu. And this is what I love I love watching about with TSM is Dubu is one of those very traditional position 5 players, right? Like he's not one of these players that likes playing the greedy 5s and doing all this stuff. He's more than happy to play for the team. Yeah. Thought there was going to be a fight towards bottom, so Dubu being these classic position 5s is always nice to see, and that's why I think, you know, TSM can play these heroes.
Well, the fight is coming bottom here, Fluke, but it's coming in the form of Ori, who made a big rotation. But Boca is not scouted out just yet. He would life the fire snap cookie, finds Ori with it. Brow's here as well. Brow gets off the Requiem, but unfortunately, with this 4-hero Requiem, can they get the follow-up kills? They've only gotten the 1 out of Ori, but that was wonderful. Bryle. We need to see that again. We need to see that again. How much damage did he do there? 1,500 damage coming in. Nicely done with the Invis rune. Just sets up perfectly. Oh, that was lovely. And that was also going to punish the first big rotation coming out of Ori. He was already falling behind the SF. And that's going to put the SF even further ahead than the Lesh.
Yeah, they set up nicely with that Invis rune. They wanted to see if they can get the kill there onto Monet, but as soon as we see this fight going in, Saberlight is pretty tanky. Comes in with a big old Requiem, hits onto 4 of these heroes. Bra would have loved to have been able to get the second kill here on a Siamese cat, but he had a big old wand, so a little bit hard for him to get that extra bit of damage going through once you've already used that triple raise. And doing a good job here, TSM. 10 minutes in, relatively even on the net worth as well. They haven't lost all of their tier 1 towers just yet. They're starting to get towards their own item timings. Tomato has now set up for his Aghanim Scepter that's going to be able to come through as well. Last time we saw Tomato play this Pudge, he went for a very early Crimson card, I believe it was. And just tried to play this very kind of tanky Pudge, but now he's getting to the point where he wants to play the carry kind of Pudge, where you go for that Aghanim Scepter and just be this annoying damage dealer inside of the game. And Bryle's starting to hit his stride as well, very close towards that Dragonlance. The supports here for TSM are also just finally starting to get their levels, and that's kind of the one positive for playing Rubik and Ancient Apparition. Neither of these two heroes really care all too much about getting items, and they're able to get this initiation and get this rolling. They're very, very close to level 6 here onto Saberlight, so as soon as they have that Roar, this could be a kill here on a Monet.
Might actually try for the easier one onto Siamese Cat, yeah. Funnily enough, Dubu has level 6 before Saberlight does, and they will commit the ultimate with the Ice Blast to be able to bring down the Sven. They brought Bral over down to this bottom lane as well, so they're going to try and make this push happen at the same time as Ori is moving top with the Diabolic Edict. So the usual maneuver around this point in the game, swapping sides, trying to push, but down bottom, looks like they want to defend here for Team Aster. XXX comes in, Brewmaster split is on. Every time as Ori is moving top with the Diabolic Edict. So the usual maneuver around this point in the game, swapping sides, trying to push, but down bottom, looks like they want to defend here for Team Aster. XXX comes in, Brewmaster split is on. He really wants to try and find this counter initiation. Beautiful gust onto 2 heroes. The Morty's Kisses follow up onto Bryle. He will end up dead though. Unfortunately for him, Cyclone was up onto Saberlight. He comes down, gets rid of the Primal Roar, but unfortunately he's not going to be good enough to save him. Loses his life too. The final Cyclone was committed onto the Rubik. Can they catch up to Moon Meander in time? Boca has Fire Snap Cookie in 10 seconds and Scatter Blast for the slow in 1. But Moon Meander stole the cookie. Gets himself deep behind the tier 1 tower. Does get slowed down by XXX. Between the Thunderclap and some right clicks, Moon Meander should end up falling. So 3 heroes get taken down bottom. They don't get the tier 1 tower. Ori does get punished in the top lane because TSM notes that, well, he's actually all alone. We can make that jump onto him, so Tomato hooks him, does bring him down solo. Nonetheless, though, Team Aster overall happy with this map trade because they get 3 and a tier 1 tower in this bottom lane.
Yeah, they're definitely happy with how that trade did go, and I was wondering whether or not we're going to see TSM or Aster make the first defense for these tier 1 towers, and it looks like Aster, they were more than happy because they had the primary split. And now Aster taking control of the map once again. I think the biggest thing here for TSM is that they're still just waiting for Saberlight to start getting a few more of these items. He's finally got the Helm of the Dominator now. He's going to be moving towards his Helm of the Overlord and finally has the Roar available. I think that's the biggest thing now for TSM. They have the Roar available for their Beastmaster hit, so they're going to be able to actually walk around the map and see if they can get some of these Roar kills. Bryle getting closer and closer towards some of his items. We're on the other side of things, Team Aster, they're happy with how things are going. They've already got an Urn, getting ever closer towards that Wraith Pack here for XXS, but Boca's just doing Snapfire things. They've got the Dragonlance already here on Monet, and Siamese Cat, he's going to be perfectly okay with just sitting back on no items. Even in the first game, he had no items until he got towards that Aghanim Shard, and they're looking to see if they can find Saberlight here in the trees. I don't know exactly where he is.
He tried to tumble its way through the trees, but like you say, I think the camera should have cut away from that one. 4 heroes ganging up on one in the trees. That's just bullying at this point, man. Saberlight just not having the game that we normally see coming out of them. I mean, to be fair, Beastmasters have a tendency to just lose their lanes and then have to recover deeper into the game in the jungle, but the way Team Aster are playing, it looks like they want to deny him every opportunity to do that. They've even gone ahead and blocked some of these ancient camps with the sentry, and they're not done just yet with this aggression. Look where they are. They're on the high ground in the triangle. They find a big jump, but my goodness, Moon Meander lifts up the Sven. Brow raises him down. But XXX might look for revenge. Morty's Kisses floating in over the top as well. Brow, he's been here before. He's seen this movie. He didn't like how it ended. And unfortunately, it's going to end almost exactly the same way. One more rock throw, but he's still alive for now. Juking through behind the trees. He gets to live. Tomato, though, might not be as lucky as he's caught between Ori and the boys. He actually gets a hook onto XXX, who thanks him for bringing him closer to his squad. And Tomato will end up falling. Brow somehow lives, but Team Aster, they'll still take it. It's like, well, we didn't get the primary target, but we still get a core kill out of this triangle, and we still get to push on middle if we want to with Ori.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing there is you're throwing the Ice Blast on towards the Panda. As long as he has splits, he's going to be A-okay. If he gets Chainstone done, then yeah, it's going to be scary, but the way that works out, he just gets the split off, and then you basically nullified one of the big ultimates that come in there for TSM. They did a good job to burst down Siamese Cat there on the Sven, but as soon as we see those team fights really start to fall back to normalcy, that's when it starts getting hard. XXS did a beautiful micro job to be able to save Monet as well. Monet was getting run out by the Pudge and didn't have Gus, didn't have any of his abilities to try and get away from the Pudge, but nice little tornado just kept Tomato out of the fight for long enough for them to corral around Monet, and now Team Aster are getting out on top here. They're getting closer to some of these items that are going to allow them to have these team fights going forward. Brawl getting closer towards that BKB. Dubu as well as Moon Meander are finally starting to get towards some of these support items with 4 staff coming up. They can catch out Aura here. This would be massive for them, but I just don't think they have the vision for it.
No, I don't think they see him.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
A big item that's going to come soon, though, is that they're going to have access to Ags on the Pudge in a very short order. Ags plus Blink feels very scary. Once you get that AoE rot with Ice Blast, that does feel like a pretty good combination pre-BKB for any of these heroes. But still a little bit of time before they get there. The very scary item that has just emerged is Ori has now picked up the Bloodstone. We're going to see in the upcoming fight whether or not Dubu is going to reserve utilizing Ice Blast for the activation of Bloodstone, which has to factor into the decision making as to why they picked this hero. We shall see, though. And another big item for XXX is the Wraith Pact. We've seen generally that once Team Aster picks up the Wraith Pact, they want to try and go and make something happen on the map before the enemy team has any kind of item that can deal with the damage mitigation. And so far, they are stacked up as 4 here in the dire triangle. They're thinking about a smoke, and they are going to proc it. They're going for a fight here, Fluke. They really want somebody. Fortunately for the side of TSM, there's no Blink Daggers available just yet on the side of Aster. But it's still a scary place to be. Dubu. Alright, mate, you know what it is. You know what it is. You said it earlier. He's a traditional +5, and the job of the traditional +5 is to tank the gank. Doing his job right now.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta bite the bullet, but now it means that Team Aster, they're looking towards Roche here. They can definitely do it extremely fast, even if Ori wants to make his way over towards this site as well. So they can do a lot of damage up against the Roche. It's not gonna be as fast as what we've seen in previous games, but it's definitely gonna be one of those scenarios where TSM go, okay, you guys can have the top side of the map, let's have the bottom side of the map and see if we can get ourselves, you know, they've got the Aghanim Scepter now up on Tomato. Bryl's getting close towards that BKB. It's about 1,400 gold away from that. Once they have these 2 big items, that's when TSM can start the fight here. But they're going to have to try and fight in towards a Roche fight as well. The Ice Blast is going to force XXS to split hit. No, he's going to be okay. It's only nice Ice Blast. So.
If that was level 2 Ice Blast, that would have been a very interesting situation that would have happened inside the Roshan pit. Regrettably, it's not. And the Aegis goes the way of Monet right now. He's just chilling. Like you said, though, they were able to finally push the tier 1 tower. Maybe they take this fight as well. Nice Stormhammer onto 2. Unfortunately for Saberlight, though, the Morty's Kisses were already raining out. So he ends up dead regardless. He can't turn around with the Primal Roar to save himself. That would have been such a sick play. Moon Meander did his best, but Unfortunately, the woes of Saberlight will continue in this game, Fluke. That's his 4th death so far. Still doesn't have access to the Helm of the Overlord. Of course, he still doesn't even have access to the Vlads right now. Game is just very hard for Saberlight at this moment.
Yeah, Saberlight is definitely having a rough go of it. He's only 400 gold ahead of Baboka as well. He's 3,000 gold behind his counterpart in their best. So, yeah, Saberlight's definitely not having a good one this time around. But after what we've seen from Saberlight, he's still able to at least keep the spirits high for TSM. I feel like they're definitely not out of this game. We've seen what Shadow Fiends and Pudges are able to do in the past. They've got some of their items starting to come up. I think once this BKB comes up here for the Shadow Fiend, Baral's going to be much more happier to be able to play in these team fights. And Saberlight's going to be okay with going down. I think as long as he gets his roar off in these team fights, you're going to be happy if you're TSM. If they can roar somebody like the Panda, if they can blow him up before he gets the proper split off, they're able to roar somebody like Monet or even Ori, get them blown up before they can use any of their abilities. You're going to be happy if you're TSM because that's all you kind of really need to do. You just need to enable Tomato to be able to stand in these team fights for as long as possible. You also need to enable Brawl to be able to just have that positioning where he's able to just get these right clicks going because it seems like so far that Team Aster like having this Drow Ranger up against the Shadow Fiend because we've seen it so far. It's very hard for him to get into these team fights and unfortunately for Moonmender, he's defending a tower and now he's probably just going to be looking to roll.
Well, somebody has to tank it. Tier 2 is definitely going to fall. But look at this. He's bought space and time. Because bottom lane, Brawl and Saberlight are able to apply pressure to the Tier 2 tower. Brawl will get a BKB off the back of this, and Saberlight will just get some much-needed gold, almost finishing the full Vlads, and indeed he's got it. So I think they're fine with this. Moonmender, actually a godlike play at the end of the day. And Team Aster, they're stuck here. They don't want to move away from the side of the map until they get this Tier 2 tower. So as a result, they'll actually be out-traded first for the outpost. So TSM, even though they are behind right now, they're doing these small little things to try and get themselves back in contention. Just piece by piece by piece. And unfortunately, I don't think Aster can utilize this particular Aegis to try and end the game, but they're smoking up right now to try and force a fight. I'm not sure how much I feel about this without... Exactly, yeah, Drow's bottom. I'm not sure how I feel about this.
Yeah, it was a little bit of an awkward play. Maybe they're just trying to catch some of these TSM members unawares, but TSM also smoked on their way around because now they've got the Blink Tag up on Tomato, they've got the Aghanim Scepter, they've got PKB on Brawl. Like, I think TSM are perfectly happy about taking some of these fights, especially because if they know exactly where Monet is, he's one of the big damage dealers that come in from Team Aster. So they're just playing a little bit on the front foot, and now they are looking themselves and seeing if they can lock down some more parts of this map. There's only a tier 2 tower in the mid and bottom side of the map for them to try and claim. So what they're going to try and do is they're going to try and push down this bottom side of the map. I mean that if they have this bottom lane constantly pushed out, they don't have to worry about it all too much. But Saberlight is starting to sit in the trees here. I thought that maybe TSM might try and set up onto Monet, but I think at this point with no Blink Dagger or anything like that, TSM are just happy to get these creep waves getting cut and just kind of force Aster to spend a little bit extra time here.
Cutting these waves. They fortify on the tier 2 tower as well. Top lane, Brawl, trying to force out the tier 1 tower as they are pushing in the tier 2 bottom. We'll be able to get it, and because they keep this siege wagon alive, they'll be able to prevent any kind of backdoor protection and ensure that they can take the tier 2 tower as well. And we need to get out the Saberlight. They're coming. They know where he's at, but he's TPing out. Okay, cool.
Yep.
That last death, he's like, that's my last one, boys. I'm done. I don't want to be the punching bag anymore. And he's almost got the Helm of the Overlord as well on Saberlight. Erstwhile, Monet about to pick up BKB also. This is interesting though, because you were mentioning earlier that they're really struggling with Brawl to get on top of this Drow Ranger to actually hit her down and do the damage necessary to kill her. Now that they have this BKB being queued up and the blink already finished on Tomato, eventually this Pudge will be able to do that job for you. He BKBs, runs in the fight. His only job is hunt down the Drow Ranger. We can make a plan with this Ori, Leshrac, since we already have Dubu, but Drow needs to absolutely die no matter what. And speaking of Leshrac, Monet, that has Blink Dagger. How was he able to blink away there after the lift? Oh, they didn't get the damage out in time.
Yeah. Brawl just missed the Shadow Race. He hit the Shadow Race in the right spot, but Ori just didn't get pulled back in time. So being able to blink away there was Ori. But TSM, they're understanding that they're starting to hit some of their power spikes, right? They're already behind by 4,000 gold. They've got the BKB now on their Shadow Fiend. He's getting ever closer towards his own Hurricane Pike. So They're feeling strong. They're feeling pretty good with how they are right now. Helmet Overlord has come out here for Saberlight as well, so they're starting to hit some of these item timings here, Snare, and this is where it starts getting a little bit nervous because I've seen TSM these last couple of days really be able to out-team fight some of these other teams, and where they've been playing around their Shadow Fiends and where they've been playing around some of these heroes, definitely look like they can be in a good spot. Okay, Bryle, he's going to have to pick a beat.
Does Baboka have a vendetta against Bryle, man? Every single time he sees Bryle stun, he just throws the kisses. It's like, I don't care, bro. Morty's kisses straight up. But Bryle does escape this one. Morty's kiss is not the longest cooldown in the world, so they don't really care on the side of Team Aster in that situation. But like you mentioned, they are starting to get to the point where they're not feeling the most confident in the world. As mentioned, Tomato's farm is also getting high up there. He's almost finished. BKB. Bryle's changed his mind. Or not changed his mind. He's finished the Hurricane Pike and now going for a raw damage. Gonna start hurting these fools. And even though this fan already has access to this Aghanim shot, does feel like the protection offered, yes, it's gonna be significant, but we've seen this SF do miracles when it comes to the raw output of this damage. So it's certainly not gonna be sufficient to keep you completely protected from him.
Yeah, I think this is exactly what they need, right? They just need the Shadow Fiend now that he's gotten his few defensive items in the BKB and the Hurricane Pike that he wants to just start dealing damage. He's got some really good wards for them to play on this bottom side of the map as well, just to be able to kind of have any ideas about if anybody is coming in towards any of these jungle areas. So you can see that's why Saberlight as well as Dubu are just camping themselves bottom. They're just putting themselves into a position now where they're able to just constantly push out this bottom side of the map, and they're just pulling Team Aster apart, and they understand that if they get towards some more of these item timings, they can start to have these team fights going their way, and that's exactly what you want if you're a TSM fan right now. They just need a little bit of this extra damage, they need a little bit more time, start to even out this net worth a little bit, and see if they can kill Monet, see if they can kill Ori. So we like to see it when it's a much tighter affair between these two teams, and TSM are doing a really good job to try and get themselves into that position. Now with Tomato, is this his BKB coming out? Yeah, he's got a full BKB here on the Pudge. This is definitely go time. Definitely go time for TSM.
Let's go. Oh, Bryle wasn't caught inside it. Doesn't really matter. As long as Tomato's the one at the forefront of this push, that's the important thing. Lots of vision being plopped down by Team Aster though, so they see this coming. They know this perfectly. They don't have any positive vision themselves. Tomato jumps in. He found Ori. Ori, Ice Blast is going to chase him. He gets hit in. No Bloodstone for you, but the hook does end up missing. Sven, in the meantime, allowed himself to be the one caught in, held behind, brought down. But TSM can't get more. Tomato was forced to jump blind, but here's going to be the stun jumping in from him with the rot damage. They are going to be able to find him. Primal Roar onto XXX, but they should still be able to get off the Requiem. Tomato, in the meantime, though, tanking way too much damage from Monet, eating these shots from the marksmanship, and we will end up dying. Moon Meander trying to get himself out of dodge, won't be able to do so. At the very least, Bryle can TP out. But that is a very rough initiation from the side of TSM. They came in that fight, Fluke, with no vision twice, right? They caught Ori twice. They eventually kill him much deeper into the Radiant side of the map, but this is a proof of concept. It's now possible to be able to make these kind of moves happen on the map.
Yeah, it just felt a little awkward after that second initiation, right? They saw the dive bomb that goes in onto Ori, catches him out, gets him rooted in the spot, and that means that Tomato's able to get this second engage going. Bryle just couldn't really do anything in that fight. He didn't even pop BKB, he didn't use Requiem. I think I saw 1 or 2 raises. He was just always a little bit too far away and didn't want to overcommit on this Shadow Fiend as well. Yeah, you lose Tomato, but this is exactly what the Pudge is going to be doing in these team fights, right? He's going to be blinking in, popping his BKB, biting one of these big cores, and trying to deal as much damage as he possibly can, while Bryle is going to be the one that's going to be skirting around these team fights. But now they still have access to this BKB for Bryle.
They still have also access to this Brewmaster split from XXX. He just picked up an Aghanim Scepter as well. But they decide that nobody really wants to take this fight just yet. I say that, but TSM, they re-smoke again. Come hell or high water, they are going to take this fight. We spoke about how this team trained the fear out of themselves. And their primary thing is, do not be scared. We can make these fights happen. And also, while all of this action is happening inside of their jungle, look what's happening bottom. Saberlight just been quietly chin-chilling. Throwing in this ancient granite golem. They've got these boars in a siege wagon. Tier 3 tower's gonna take some damage, but in the meantime, they actually kill XXX. They got him. Found by Tomato, who also activates the BKB to jump deeper into the fight to pick up Baboka. Bryle finally allowed to outlay some damage in that fight, but that one is yet again all Tomato. And that prevents the Brewmaster split as well. And this is perfect timing. Like, he's up in 30 seconds, which kind of sucks, but Roshan is about to respawn, and TSM FTX, between the Beastmaster in a Beast Aura and having this Shadow Fiend with raw right-click damage plus the Aura from him, this Roshan doesn't actually last very long whatsoever, so they could potentially still sneak it despite the fact that this Brewmaster should be respawning quite shortly.
Yeah, that was actually a sick play that came out there from TSM. The hook coming in from Tomato to be able to get the Brewmaster in a position where Bryles is able to blow him up with the Requiem of Souls. The Fear is a very, very potent tool in a lot of these team fights as well, just for TSM to be able to play around the fact that it gives you those extra couple of seconds to reposition, try and catch out a few of these extra heroes. If you hit the Ice Blast on top of some of them as well, it's going to be very, very scary for them. But Aster, they're looking forward. Maybe they want to try and sneak the Roche here. It's very hard for them to try and play around these Hawks, though, because this dive bomb has been able to do so much work for them, and even the amount of vision that it gives here for the Beastmaster. And this is where you look at this draft that comes in from TSM. I'm feeling like they should be able to get this one done because they're always going to be able to win the vision control. They've got good ideas about being able to have these team fights going their way once they've got a few of their items open. Yep. And TSM, they're doing a good job now to get these team fights in their favor. And their Tiger prioritization is immaculate as well. Killing the Panda at the start of the fight. There's no team fight here for Team Aster if they've got no success with the Panda. So, yeah, I really like the way that TSM are team fighting their way back into this one.
They're slowly but surely doing it. Roshan, the next port of call for both of these squads. It's so important that Saberlight's even been dragged off the bottom lane to try and play with this team here, just to ensure that they can put some degree of pressure if a fight were to break out. Team Aster also smoked immediately as Brewmaster came back, trying to stop a potential Roche attempt. So both squads know how important the big man is going to be. And not just the big man himself. There's an Aghanim shot to drop down here, and some very good shard heroes for the pickup. You can get Shadow Fiend on the dire side. Even the Pudge as well. We saw yesterday the influence of Tomato having the Aghanim shot, saving Bryle so many times in the game. But you also have some terrifying ones on Radiant. Hypothermia stacks. You've got already the shot on the Sven, to be fair. But Ori would be very happy to be able to pick up an Aghanim shot. Have this additional split earth. But Ori's also revealed himself down in this bottom lane. So this might incentivize TSM to try and make an aggressive play here. But for now, it does feel like everybody's just holding position all across the map. Who does this benefit, this particular game state, if nothing is really happening except farming? Which team would you rather be on under these conditions?
I think I'd probably rather be TSM. It's going to get to the point now where Monet is going to have to be thinking so much about how his positioning is going in these team fights as well. Dota Plus decided to favor Aster a little bit here, but late game Ancient Apparition is nothing to scoff at. The fact that you always have to worry about this Ice Blast. Pudge can get to a point where he hits this critical mass where he's very, very hard to deal with. And same thing with the Shadow Fiend. They're going to have a lot of right-click damage. They're going to have a lot of spells to be able to play around with Moon Meander. He's been playing extremely well on this Rubik to just have his positioning in the right areas. Whereas Aster, I think they're going to start to fall off a little bit here. They're going to have some issues with damage a little bit later on. A lot of their heroes really don't do that much damage, whereas TSM, we've got a lot of big damage dealers in regards to the Beastmaster as well as the Shadow Fiend and the Punch. Gonna kill the Brewling.
They took the outpost. They should be able to kill the Brewling. It got the Cyclone out. Nice split earth. They really want to save it. But all that really matters for the side of TSM here is probably just this outpost. And it's not really about the outpost. It's more about just vision of this area. This is a scary place to be right now at this point in the game. We know that one Roshan move can turn everything around. Everybody's gotten to the point where, yes, there are big items up, but the win probability keeps falling slightly lower and lower. TSM still really think to themselves that we back our chances to be able to come out ahead in this game, especially since Dubu did eventually find the level 2 Ice Blast. But nobody wants to start this fight. Both sides are so good at counter-initiating, either having XXX jump in with the Brewmaster split randomly after dropping down the Wraith Pact, or suddenly you get hooked out of position by Tomato. Making the first move can sometimes be detrimental in a game that's this close here, Fluke.
Yeah, and I think the big positive here for the side of Team Aster is the fact that they have these boots of travel on Ori. So he's able to just spam out a lot of these waves, especially this bottom wave. Spam it out, be able to walk himself back towards the middle lane, and if it ever starts getting spicy for them, he can always tip you towards, some of these crit waves towards the middle lane. I would like to see, maybe someone on TSM fall back for maybe a boost of travel a little bit later on if this game starts to peter out for now. But TSM, They are just currently hitting creeps. This net worth has started to dwindle a little bit here. Very, very even in regards to the net worth as well as the win probability. So we're getting to this awkward stage here now. We've seen it a few times yesterday through the group stages where a lot of these team fights are all about that instant initiation. Who is going to be the one that's going to be on the front foot? Who's going to be the one that's not thinking about 1 to 2 steps ahead and just goes in and blows up that one hero? We've seen it a few times. Buybacks are oh so important in this game. If you go in, you get this team fight, you take down someone like Ori or Monet, then that's really good for you. Same thing in regards for Team Aster. If they go in, if they blow up Tomato, if they blow up Ryle, forcing them to buy back, to come into these fights to try and help out and alleviate the pressure from this second Roshan, then it just means if you win one fight and take them down, that's, you know, 100 plus seconds where you're able to freely do whatever you want here. And that's why That's why there's so much tension here between both these two teams. Neither of them have left this little corner of the map around the Roche pit because they know that it's only really Saberlight and Ori. They're the two guys who are going to be pushing out this bottom lane. And they're going to have this back and forth between each other. Whereas on the other side of things, everybody else needs to stick in towards this Roshan pit. And finally, Aster, they're the ones that have decided to get this smoke going and walking across the river.
They're walking across the river. Ori comes across 2 heroes. They're able to burst out Moonmi and he buys back. We were talking about the need for buybacks. Oh my god, the Bowmaster doesn't die. Whose 4-star is this? Is that Moon Meander again? Who has the 4-star? Let's see. I'm not sure whose 4-star it is, but it absolutely saves the life of XXX. Unfortunately, 4-star will not be able to do the same for the Sven. Brewmaster gets off the ultimate. A lot of the Brewlings, though, might not actually survive this fight. Look at this damage outlay. The Fire Brewling is dead. XXX is just dead, heads up. Boca tried to cover with the Morty's Kisses, but it's just not good enough. The Split Earth will not connect. 4-star with the Hurricane Pike will keep Ral alive for now. They're trying to chase down onto Saberlight. Buybacks coming in from Team Aster. Both Siamese Cat as well as XXX want to return to the fray. Saberlight just wants to escape. 30 seconds before he has access to a TP though. And he's really being ran down. Blink up in 5. They've already seen Tomato being able to make his way out of this fight right now. Okay, Ori went north. XXX is coming in as well, but they don't even need him. But Boca found him first, so they get the kill. Goes the way of Monet, unstoppable streak. He might have to buy back here, because Team Aster will 100% go into the Roshan pit at the moment. And TSM, if they don't buy back on this Brewmaster, they'll be forced to try and take this fight 4v5. But they need to be careful on that side of Team Aster here. Dubu has access to the Ice Blast again, and they still have access to these razors. No Requiem for now, but jump in. Ori jumps into Tomato as well as Dubu. They get bursted down in a hurry. Moon Meander in danger as well, but at the same time, Brawl is the big one that got caught out. He's stuck on the high ground all alone. He's isolated, and worst yet, he's the one on the team that does not have buyback here, Fluke. And what's worse is the other heroes have. Yep, bought the full AC. His team buys back, but that's just go down the drain because they can't do anything to get this Roshan back.
And this is what I touched on, right? The fact that if you're the one that's on the front foot, Ori did that twice in those team fights. They just got the smoke, and he just walks in with his blink. He just goes in with the beacon. He goes in with the bloodstone, and they just obliterate TSM. Ryle gets himself up towards the high ground, and as soon as this kind of formation gets broken for TSM, it is so hard for them to try and reconfigure. This is why I said in so many of these games here, Snare, if you're the one that's getting the initiation, it is so much easier for you to play Dota. It's so hard to try and get this carding going, try and figure out where everyone needs to be in these team fights to try and keep it in your favor. And Team Aster, Ori, he just hit the go button, man. He just walked in, blinked in, he pressed his pulse over, he pressed his bloodstone, and what are you supposed to do if he hits a massive split earth like he did there on the 2 heroes? You saw how fast Tomato melted, and now that Team Aster, they have themselves this Aegis and have themselves a tier 3 tower as well. Tomato should be okay to be able to get himself back in towards his base. They've got plenty of 4-stars, but the fact that they're being able to put this back on a TSM, this game was even Stevens. It is now an 11k net worth lead for Team Aster. I'd hate to see what the winner probability is like. That is a direct upward trend. It is up to 83% right now in TSM. They need to try and get something back out of this. If they can connect on some of these heroes that are running outside of the base, they might be able to wrangle this one back for now, but I don't think they're going to be able to find anybody.
To make matters worse, the only heroes that are left behind here are supports, and Ori's just not going to get caught out here. He's fine. So TSM, this smoke, not really going to achieve what they really wanted. But Boca, he's being chased. Axes come close to him. They're going to throw in the Beastmaster Hawk. to try to provide some
didn't see
additional vision, but Boca not seen. Nighttime, man. Beautiful mechanic. Keeps him alive at the end of the day. And he gets out. TSM, like you mentioned, their probability of winning this game slid down in a very short span of time. That jump from Ori just... We're starting to see why TSM regarded this as an important enough hero to first to ban it in game number 1. Here in game 2, Ori is allowed to play this Lesh. Have fun, my friend, because other teams are watching, and I'm not sure you'll be allowed to play Lesh again.
Dire's middle tower is under
Yeah, I think
attack.
Aster are really showing some more of these different heroes that are really starting to look strong right now. Obviously, we've got heroes like the Enigma, the Visage, the Marcy, the Primal Beast. All these heroes have been looking really, really strong right now. But I think Aster are putting a pretty big stride forward for these kind of, I don't want to say death ball, but these kind of group up strats with Drow Ranger. I think Drow has really kind of had her stocks rising. He wins this game again. That's going to be 5 games with a 100% win rate so far here in the group stages, and I think that's a pretty fair shout for a carry hero that they have been first phasing. They've been first phasing this Drow Ranger, and I think that's the biggest thing here. They're going to make a jump here on Ori, though.
Eats some damage from the Ice Blast, but unfortunately doesn't get locked down by Tomato, and Monet turns the damage right back onto Tomato. We've already now lost out on the Pudge. Ori, the primary target, is the one credited with the kill. And now TSM just trying to do their best to run the hell away. They do all manage to get out, at least for now. But this is very, very frustrating. You're the one that makes a jump, but they're the ones that get the kills. And now that's 80 seconds in the grave with no Pudge. Remember, they know it's a dieback here, Fluke, so they can just keep pushing, knowing for a fact that it's going to be a 4v5 scenario. 4v5 push with Leshrac Drow, and they found Bryle down bottom! Oh no! Ori Leshrac, y'all. Ori Leshrac. What a god, what a player. 2 core heroes are now dead because of him, and as a result, we're about to lose a lane of racks as well, Fluke. There's nothing TSM can do to stop this.
Are they just going to end? They're going to try and force the buyback at least out of fear of Bryle, and as you said, they know that there is no buyback here on the Pudge. They found Moon Meander in the backside, and Ori is doing so much work on the Leshrac.
Yep. This BKB making all the difference in the world for him with the Bloodstone. Didn't even need to activate it that time. Just drawing in their spells. They forced the buyback out of Bryle. Now it's like, cool. Everybody on the side of Dire is in dieback territory if they go down again. We still have 30 seconds, no Pudge. XXX has ultimate available. How on earth can they defend this? Drow, they're going in. Dubu is about to lose his life. No buyback for him. Right clicks onto Moon Meander, almost gets that kill, but instead they're going to be focusing on the cores. Saberlight and Bryle. One is dead. Bryle is corralled inside the fountain, and GG is called. TSM. They know they cannot do it. They know they cannot beat Team Aster. And what a performance coming in from the Chinese squad. They are now 5-1, clear at the top of the group. What a performance. Just, Fluke, how are we supposed to stop this? That's 2 different games with the Drow Ranger, right? The first game, massive death ball strategy coming in. They're intending to end the game in 25 minutes. The second one, much more considered. They're prepared to fight with the Drow Ranger. But nonetheless, they still come out ahead. Even when you have miraculous plays like this Bryle Requiem, it just didn't really work out for the side of TSM at the end.
Yeah, it really didn't. They did a good job, did Team Aster, to be able to cover for their Drow Ranger. I think the biggest thing for me is just having this Sven. This Sven and this Drow Ranger lane is so potent. You're just able to run around with the Storm Hammer and you be able to utilize the Warcry to be able to give this Drow a little bit of that extra survivability. TSM did a really good job at understanding that they needed to get these extra few items to try and take down Monet. But I don't think he actually died throughout the entirety of that game. I think there was multiple opportunities where they were able to jump onto Ori and potentially try and burst him down, but they just didn't have the damage, man. And I think Team Aster have really put themselves in a good position here for their group stages to have something that these teams really need to start to think about. This is a strategy that they've used multiple times right now. Drow is 5-0 in wins in the group stages. EG have been playing it before as well, but Team Aster now, I believe this is what? They played it twice in a row here, and they played it once in a series up against Team Liquid as well. So, yeah. I mean, these guys are looking really, really strong with their Drow Ranger pick. I think Monet is definitely going to be one of those carry players that is going to be utilizing this Drow Ranger a lot more, because it enables them to play so many of these different strategies. And I think Team Aster, they're starting to become one of those teams that is really starting to set their own meta here. A lot of these other teams are trying to play a whole lot of this different stuff, things like Morphling, all that kind of jazz. Morphling wasn't even touched